You can often spot a successful modern leader by looking at their schedule. Take Ethan Morales. He co-led a growing young church, ran a thriving local coffee shop, and made a point to be physically present for his wife and kids. From the outside, his life operated with mechanical precision. But the external metrics were lying. Behind the packed calendar and the outward success, Ethan was entirely exhausted. His joy was gone. He felt spiritually dry and emotionally numb, operating entirely on autopilot, while quietly unraveling underneath the weight of his own responsibilities. This specific state of internal depletion is called spiritual drift. It is dangerously subtle because it rarely looks like obvious rebellion or failure. Instead, it dresses up as drive. It masquerades as diligence. Like a creeping frost, this drift is driven by a hidden, insidious belief, the assumption that your worth is inextricably tied to your output. When you believe your value comes from what you produce, pressure becomes your primary fuel source. We tie our identity to our productivity. We adopt the frantic pace of the culture around us and call it faithfulness. But that pace only creates an illusion of momentum, and an illusion will eventually crash. When a leader hits that inevitable wall, the universal instinct is to treat the problem like a broken machine. We become mechanics, looking for the right tool to tighten the loose bolts in our daily routines. We try to cure the exhaustion by stacking new habits. We ruthlessly time block our calendars. We invent entirely new performance frameworks to squeeze out a few more drops of efficiency. The mechanics approach fails because it misdiagnoses the problem. You cannot goal set your way out of a crisis of identity. No amount of time blocking can heal a soul that has forgotten who it actually is. The rule here is absolute. Before there can be any lasting external movement, there must be a profound internal renewal. Ethan's momentum chasing finally stopped during a quiet conversation with a mentor. He sat down expecting another set of strategies to manage his burnout, but the intervention he received bypassed his schedule entirely. His coach asked him a single question. What if transformation isn't something you manufacture, but something you receive? Pressure-based leadership consumes action to build a fragile sense of value. Leading from presence means operating from already being loved. When your value is secure, everything realigns. Leadership expresses love, work reflects rest, and responsibility responds to grace. Impactful leadership flows as an unforced expression of an identity rooted in grace. To actually experience this transformation, the leader has to retire the mechanic's wrench and adopt the mindset of a gardener. A gardener knows you cannot force a plant to grow. You can only pay close attention to the health of the soil. Sustainable growth relies on repeatable, quiet rhythms of abiding. These practices include personal worship that prioritizes presence over productivity, building spiritual resilience through faith, guarding actual time for spiritual growth, a habit of real-time confession, and leading by the values of the Beatitudes, valuing meekness and mercy over personal ambition. These anchors subtract the noise of a busy life to make room for depth. By creating this space, a leader can finally name their hidden fears and swap out the exhausting script of holding it all together for genuine trust. These deliberate rhythms ensure you are growing from a new root system, which produces more lasting change than simply trying to turn over a new leaf. As Ethan adopted these practices, the changes were immediate and unforced. The striving slowed down. He felt emotionally lighter. At home, he wasn't just physically in the room. His family felt a renewed, fully available presence. That internal peace naturally bled out into his business. Customers at the coffee shop picked up on a grounded authenticity. It sparked deep, honest conversations over the counter, without a single forced marketing strategy or business pivot. Gospel momentum is formed, not forced. Transformation that starts in the private life of a leader carries an inherent weight that eventually reaches the surface. When health is established at the root, it multiplies through every interaction. Real momentum occurs when a deeply renewed internal life spills out into the public square. Standard business metrics like profit margins and fast expansion can track output, but they are entirely blind to internal health. To track actual transformation, you need a different set of measurements. This tool is the Life Transformation Scorecard. Its purpose is to illuminate the presence of spiritual and emotional health. It is a mirror for renewal, not a grading rubric for your productivity. It asks you to measure the things that actually sustain a culture: the presence of vulnerability, emotional honesty, how redemptively you handle conflict, and the true alignment between what you preach and what you practice behind closed doors. This brings us to the central realization of Ethan's journey. Don't try to lead others into transformation. Let them step into the renewal you're already living. You are never meant to lead on empty. Lasting impact occurs when you stop trying to manufacture results and allow yourself to be held by the truth of who you already are.